What is going on, guys? So today we are going to be doing something a little bit fun and a little bit different here. We are in my 2013 F150 5-liter Coyote, and we are going to be putting E85 in this car. So I want to go ahead and put E85 in this vehicle. We're currently running 87 octane. We're going to be wasting the rest of that out and going and filling up with full E85 and see what happens with this vehicle. So the key thing to note that we are not going to be changing the tune on this vehicle. So let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm going to record some 0 to 60 miles an hour on 87 octane. It's not going to be extremely scientific. I doubt we're going to pick up anything with E85. Now, this is in preparation for us going to get the vehicle dyno tuned next Tuesday at ID Motorsports. We have a JLT Cold Air intake that's going to be going on the truck. We have a BDX tuner that's going to be going on the truck, and it's going to be going with an ID Motorsports tune. We're going to be running E85 for the dyno, and obviously we'll have a few different tunes to switch around, but I do want to tune the truck on E85, so we'll do a baseline on the stock tune with E85, and then we will do a tune with the E85 and cold air intake and see how much power it makes. So right now we are on our way to Mexico. We're going to record a few 0 to 60 basically runs in the truck. As you guys know, the truck is the Coyote. It's very similar to the one that is in the Mustang, but it does have some differences, including the cams and compression ratio. So let's go ahead and give it a try. There's also quite a bit more weight in the F150 over the standard Mustang. So as you can see, we just did two 0 to 60s and the 0 to 100 as well. I'm going to take the average of those. I don't actually know what those values are at this time. They'll be obviously on screen. You guys would already know that. I don't think it's particularly fast. This is a very heavy vehicle, but those are the times we are on 87 octane. We're going to throw on an E85, see if that 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 makes any difference. Although we're going to be testing this, and I expect to see a difference. Whether it might actually take longer once we add some power to the truck, depends on if the truck is going to spin. Sometimes with these tires, as soon as you do a tune and add a little bit of power, the truck is going to be a spin monster. So in theory, we will pick up time in the 0 to 60, or actually lose time. It'll be a faster 0 to 60 adding power. However, there is a good chance of spin. So I am recording these clips both for now, switching to E85, and for after when we do the tune in JLT. Hopefully we will yield a faster 0 to 60 time with the tune. I would expect a big difference in the 0 to 100 time, because as you guys can see, it was almost like struggling to get to 100, and then obviously that's the speed limiter at 100. The other thing is, after the truck is tuned, it'll have a red line of somewhere over 7,000 RPM, whatever the tuner sees fit as a good red line. So let's go ahead and head over to the E85 pump. I'm still trying to work out some of this 87 octane, but we're gonna go head over to the E85 pump, fill up, and see if we have a difference. All right, so we just made it back from Mexico. We are now in Daytona. This is the one place that we can get E85. It's either Daytona, E85, or Orlando. So yeah, let's go fill this bad boy up. Got the gas down pretty low, so it's gonna be pretty close to full E85, especially when we're putting in somewhere around 26 gallons is what this fuel tank takes. So let's go do it. so first start up with E85. Obviously it's still gonna have some 87 in the fuel line, so let's let it start up and run for a little bit. The RPM's just a little weird thing, but let's let it get some E85 through the lines. In the meantime, while we're waiting for E85 to basically flow through this bad boy, we're going to open up the BDX and take a look. I'm going to plug it in. I don't think it has an E85 tune right off the bat. Again, we're going for a custom tune at ID Motorsports, but I want to open this up and plug it in, see what bass tunes it has, because these things do come with some canned tunes from SET. Alright, we got some instructional manuals. The BDX quick start guide. I've used a few of these things before. Bam! That is the programmer right there. Oh, it's very nice. They've actually changed this around a little bit since last time I've used a BDX. Now the BDX is very similar to the X4 one, although this one has cloud tuning, so your tuners can actually, and by tuners I mean someone who is making a calibration for your vehicle, they can go ahead and make the calibration, upload it to the cloud, you download it when you're on Wi-Fi and plug it right into the truck. No need to use a computer anymore. So these things are really cool. Let's plug it in and see what it does. It obviously comes with an OBD2 cable as well as a USB, micro USB to USB to plug into your computer. Alright, and let's just go plug it in. And it should power on. And it looks very similar to obviously a SET X4. If we go into gauges and data log, and then we should be able to just do this 11 and prior. No, this one is 08 gas and newer. I think that's going to be that. And now we should be able to read in various different signals, including air to fuel ratio. Obviously we got coolant temp down there. We can go ahead and change the gauge layout to that. And let's go ahead and look. See, we got lambda. Let's see, is this lambda? Yes, that looks like lambda. And then we can go down here. We can change this around. Let's see if we got air to fuel ratio on the base here. Yep, we got air to fuel ratio, and it also has it on the different values there. There's RPM, short-term fuel trim, spark advance. There is so much available here, and you can also configure more in your configuration files through the SET software on the computer. So it says it's at 14.0. Remember, we're running E85, so I'm not sure. I believe this is the stowage point, but don't quote me on that. So the air to fuel ratio is going to be a little bit different because we're on E85, which is 85% ethanol. So I just went over to the tuning menu and asked to connect to Wi-Fi. So I just went ahead and connected to my iPhone access point. I'm gonna hit OK and see what it has for supporting files for the vehicle. And the device just had me do an update for the firmware. So I just went into the configure options for the SET tunes, and it does have an option for fuel octane 87, 91, or 93. Unfortunately, it does not have the option for E85, so we're gonna have to wait on that. Let's go back and confirm. So I did go ahead and actually, this one actually has you marry the vehicle to it, and you can also do the cloud tuning, which we don't have any tunes ready for the vehicle, but I do want to show you some configure options, which I could have done this on 87 or 93 octane, but I wanted to test E85 because I think it's a little bit cooler. And if we go here, these are the available tunes. So if you just pick up one of these devices, it actually does have tunes pretty much for you. The only thing it does not have is the E85. It also has the JLT Cold Air intake in there as a selectable option, which is what I have in the back, but I am going to be saving that for a little bit later. You can change the shift firmness. Usually you don't want to modify the global spark. It's just not a good idea. Let the SET tune do that. You can also change the axle ratio, tire revs per mile if you have larger tires. You can take the speed limiter off. You can take the rev limit off, and see a bunch of good stuff down there. And yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff that you can do with this device. Obviously for me, it's not very helpful now that I am on E85, but I am going to be getting a custom tune from ID Motorsports. Alright, so the truck has been running here for now probably 15 minutes, so I'm pretty sure E85 is pretty much fully in the lines. So we are going to do some 0 to 60 pulls that we'll insert right here and see what it does on E85. We're also going to be taking the track, and we are going to be going on the dyno. So, got a lot of fun. Let's cut to those clips here. So I just reset the trip on the gas mileage. Looks like it's gonna be somewhere around 15 to 16 miles to gallon on E85 on the highway with the truck, which is not too bad, but the truck can get anywhere from 17 to 20 on the highway on 87 octane stock tune. Alright, looks like the average came up a little bit. It's looking like 17.3 is the current average. We've been going for about 10 miles, so not too bad on E85. So after testing the E85, I don't really see a difference, and that's to be expected. We are on stock tune. It is a flex fuel vehicle. I did read online that it could add somewhere around 10 horsepower running 93 octane or E85 on the stock tune, but I can't notice a difference. I guess we'll time it and see if that made a difference with the 0 to 60, but I don't really see it happening. I think the big change is going to be when we get the ID Motorsports tune in the truck, then we'll notice a big difference. Although, filling up the vehicle on E85 at $2.20 a gallon was not that expensive. So E85 does have the benefit of being cheap. So that is a plus side of that. So I want to wrap up this video of E85, putting E85 in your stock flex fuel vehicle. This, of course, is a flex fuel vehicle, which is why I can run E85 on the stock tune. Why would you want to run E85? Well, if you looked at the fill up, we filled up, I believe, somewhere around 25 gallons. It was like $50, where normally that'd be somewhere in the 70 range for 87 octane. I think somewhere around there. So E85 is much cheaper. It's much cheaper to produce. It's much cheaper to buy, and it also burns a bit cleaner. It actually smells like, if you smell E85, it smells good, at least, you know, up to your opinion. But it smells good. It doesn't feel like you're gonna like die smelling it. So E85 has some benefits, obviously, on a stock tune vehicle. Unless it's readily available everywhere, it's not necessarily worth it to run it for, in case, my example, if I'm not driving to Daytona or Orlando, I can't get it locally. So in the truck, it's okay because we got a big gas tank, but in one of our Mustangs, it's a little bit harder to, you know, kind of manage and try to, you know, make sure you always have E85, because if you go take a trip, you know, 30 minutes down the road, go fill up and then come back, you already burnt some of that E85 that you just filled up, because E85 typically uses around 20 to 25% more fuel in comparison to 93, 87 octane. So what I want you guys to take away from this video is what happens when you switch to E85 on stock tune, and I want you guys to be excited for us getting the truck tuned at ID Motorsports next Tuesday with the JLT Cold Air intake. Unfortunately, the BDX did not have an E85 base tune, but if I were to switch back to 87, 89, or 93 with the JLT or without, I would be able to tune the truck, therefore giving me a higher red line and a little bit more power. We're just going to go straight to the custom tune E85 JLT Cold Air route. So guys, make sure you slap the like button down below, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you are new here, make sure you slap that subscribe button. If you have been here for a while, make sure you hit the alert bell, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and we are going to be taking the truck to the track to see what it runs on stock tuned E85, but again, doesn't make a very big difference. So we'll see you guys next time.